Hi everyone, welcome back. This week I finished reading a book called The Girl Who Played with Fire, which is the second book in the series of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The book's written by Stieg Larsson, a Swedish writer, and the book has been translated to English. And when I was talking about the last book, which was The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I mentioned that the book gets kind of draggy in the middle because I guess it's because of the translation. The same problem with this, there were a lot of Swedish names in it, which were very difficult to pronounce. And like all readers do, they just made up some name in their mind and they read it that way. I did the same. Most of the names that I were in the book were just different names in my head, and that's how I read the book. The story is nice. It is a mystery, pretty much as the same as the last time. A very intriguing book. You kind of get hooked onto it, and then you want to read it, and you want to complete reading it. And they're like huge books. This one's about a 500 plus page book, I think. Yeah, almost 568 pages. So almost 600 pages. And the previous one was just as huge. And there is a third series, which was called I don't know. It's called something. The girl with something. The girl who did something. I had that book as well. I'm going to read that one next. Or maybe I'll take a break from this and read another book, and then come back to this. But the series generally is a very nice series. I really enjoyed myself reading this. And then there is this whole girl series, and many, many more stories. I think there are about a total of 6 to 9 books with probably the same girl. I'm not really sure, but uh, 3 books from this series by Stieg Larsson, and then the other series are written by different authors. So I'm hoping to find these books in the book fair, the girl series, and maybe reading them through. But this one was good. I'm going to recommend you to read it. It is a little drag, overall, and right at the end things start falling into place, and I was just wondering why they don't start falling in place somewhere in the middle of the book, so it would not have been such a drag, and things would have moved a little faster. But it's generally a very slow story. You will enjoy it. It's not enjoyable, but it's a little long. I've got back into reading books after a very long time. So I was a little slow at reading. It took me about 12 days to finish reading this one. And I'm not usually supposed to take that long to read books, but other things keep happening. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. I am a voracious book reader and I keep reading books every week, almost every day, and I talk about them. I come back here and tell you which books to read and which not. This book is a good book. When I started reading this, I wanted to go back and find out what happened in the first book of the series, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because I remember the book was really nice. I really enjoyed myself and I spoke really well about the book, but I had forgotten the story about it. So if you read this as a standalone book, there are a lot of things that are going to be missing. You will not really connect with the characters, and it took me a while to connect with the characters myself in this one because I read The Dragon Tattoo back in 2023. So it's been a while. And that's the reason why I don't remember the story that well. So I had to go back and watch my own review to figure out what the book was about. And well, to be very honest, I did not really talk about the story much. So I'm going to talk a little about the story here so that when I go back to reading the third book in the series, I am able to pick up the story of this one from my own review. So this story and the previous story is about a girl called Lisbeth who has a photographic memory. I should call it an eidetic memory. She's a genius of sorts, but she has had a really, really eventful childhood, and um, the state has the state has deemed her incompetent, where she needs to be under a guardian who takes care of her finances. But she is generally a very intelligent person and she is able and capable of doing everything for herself. It's just that the government doesn't really trust her. And in this book, you figure out why. So, the first book, you're wondering why. she is under guardianship, and in the second book, that mystery kind of opens up, and you figure out why the government is so keen on her. Um, I don't want to talk much about the story, but I think the character Elizabeth is very interesting, and even though she's very weird and abnormal, you will still like her as a character, and you kind of support her for being who she is, where she's totally original, and she does things every way that she likes, and she doesn't really fall into traps of the regular. So as a character, I really liked her. The story is a little slow, but it is a gripping story, so you will enjoy reading it. I'm going to recommend this book again, and I want you to subscribe to the channel as well. And we'll come back and talk about the next book in the series, or maybe the other book that I'm reading now. So I will see you soon. Subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.